Hi everybody, Dave here from Hey You Guys, and I'm joined by the, as always, wonderful John Lyus.
Hello, bonjour, everyone.
It's a very important topic today, but before we start, this logo that we have here for Hey You Guys Mouth Off, it's rubbish. John hates it, don't you?
I hate it with a fiery passion.
So
The
what?
fonts don't work together. We need something better.
We need something better. And what we need is you. Yes, you. If you're listening to this and you have any graphical or video expertise, then we would implore you to help us create a new logo. So, yeah, you can get in touch using the email address that's in the description below. But, yeah, go crazy. We're not guaranteeing we'll use it. Maybe we can show some of the best ones. But
That would be fun.
yeah, but if you're up for it, that would be amazing. But anyway, far more importantly than that, today we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters. Take it away, John.
Okay, today there was a bit of news coming out of a Ghostbusters VR experience junket thing, which Sony Pictures held just yesterday. Ivan Reitman was there on hand to sort of talk about the fact that Ghostbusters is going to be great in this VR experience. Apparently, you can walk around New York City and there are ghosts everywhere, etc., etc. In fact,
Ivan Reitman, just before that, is the creator or co-creator of
pretty much the
Ghostbusters
godfather,
and producer, and yeah.
Yeah, he is the godfather of Ghostbusters. And now he's made a few comments about the film that came out last year, Paul Feig's film, and also the future of the Ghostbusters universe. Now, before Paul Feig's film from last year, there were many rumors going around in production that there was going to be an all-male Ghostbusters film as well as the all-female Ghostbusters film, which was already in production at the time. And they talked about the fact that they were going to make lots of different teams. They could be all over the world. It could be really a lot of fun, and they were going to bring them together. But because last year's film proved to be a very divisive one, we didn't know what was going on with it. Basically, Ghostbusters didn't appear to have the cachet, the cultural sort of impact that it once did, and I think a lot of people were disappointed about what they did with our beloved series. So Ivan Reitman today confirmed that all of those plans are in fact still in place. That they've gone straight into to do an animated movie, which they're struggling with at the moment because, as he says in the article, which you can see on the site, he says that they're really hard to make. Well, of course they're hard to make, and we all know that. And I think
he also made 80s, John. They did it in the 80s.
They did it in the 80s. They did a lot of things in the 80s.
I loved it. I loved the animated series.
What, the real Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
I never saw it. Because I'm a little older than you, so I didn't really. I was kind of beyond it. When I saw Ghostbusters 2, I kind of thought, well, that's the end. It's not as good as the first one, and then just kind of left it.
What's not to like about the Statue of Liberty wandering down a road singing "Your love lifting me higher"? I was singing that a couple of days ago. Love it.
I'm sure you were. You're like a jukebox. But I think that when I saw that one in '89, I remember thinking to myself, all of 12 years old, that felt like a TV show based on Ghostbusters. It felt like a halfway decent episode of it. But 30 years later, when we were all sitting down and watching the film last year, I did kind of have this. I'm excited to see what they do with it again. The trailers were terrible. Tonally, it was all over the place, but it's just a trailer, so it is what it is. And I think there's a lot of talk about where the old team would fit. Would it be in the same universe? Would it feature any of them? Would it be a reboot or a revisitation? Whatever. The film did not do well, but Ivan Reitman still wants to do multiple live-action films coming off of last year's film, set in the same universe, telling different stories which would come together in a kind of an Avengers battle royale, which seems like a great idea to some people, but I'm not so sure. Dave, did you enjoy last year's film? What do you think about this?
See, my main problem with this was, I thought visually, I thought the CG and the effects they used on it were exceptional. I thought it was beautiful, colourful. It's a bit like Skyline. It looked alright, but it was awful. And that was probably the same as Ghostbusters. John likes Skyline.
I love Skyline. Yeah, it's true.
They are doing a sequel to that too, which says a
yes.
lot. My main problem though with the 2016 Ghostbusters was they introduced cameos from all of the living Ghostbusters, and Sigourney Weaver showed up, and I think Rick Moranis was the only one who didn't. But my biggest bugbear was the fact, why did they pitch them as different people. Why didn't they have them all sat in an old people's home or something? Talking about yesteryear and how they managed to solve the mystery of the ghosts back in the day, and now years later there's another crew coming along. I don't understand why they had to keep it as a separate universe, and they made it, and for me that just didn't work, and I hated that.
I think that it was a deliberate decision not to do that. Not only could you not have Harold Ramis in there,
they shouldn't have been in it. They shouldn't have been in it at all. Then, in that case,
I think it was a nod to everyone's nostalgic feelings towards it. That if you didn't have Bill Murray in it, or or any of them, then I think it was. I think it would have been disappointing. It's par for the course when you revisit or reboot or whatever an old franchise that in some ways the people who started in the original come back in. But I get it, because I think a lot of people were expecting it to be 30 years on, and that would have actually made for quite a nice.
But everything else was the same. They kept playing tribute to the fire station, and so all of the set pieces were the same. So why make it a completely different? Anyway, I could talk all day about.
I know, but I think that what they were doing is they were deliberately setting up a completely new universe, so that what that's going to mean for the future is that, based on the events of last year's film, there's going to be other teams being set up. There's going to be teams around the world. There's going to be animated series, and for some of these shared universes, it seems to make sense. But with Ghostbusters, I'm struggling to find how they can have different narrative strands which are all going to come together unless they start building up some sort of gigantic evil which everyone has to face off at the end of it. It's going to be really, really hard to do. When you do something a bit like 21 Jump Street and the movie reboot of that, they took what was fun about the original and then they played with it and they made it ridiculous. And I think that was something they didn't do with this, and they couldn't do, because I think that they were essentially trying to make a basic Ghostbusters film that reintroduced the idea of it, so they could then go crazy with it.
Yeah. But it
didn't really work.
There was also all of the horribleness surrounding the film.
Yeah,
wasn't there? Like racist tweets and stuff. It was awful.
Racist,
needlessly,
sexist,
just scumbags, really.
Yeah, it pretty much was, and it's almost like I wanted to like the film more because I wanted them to be wrong. The fact is that you should only ever judge a film on the film itself. Like, is it any good? And I didn't enjoy it particularly, but I do like the people who are in it. I like the people behind it. And as much as I'm not going to race to the cinema, banging on the doors, demanding another Ghostbusters film, I will happily watch another one, because I think that they're a talented bunch of people. Not sure if it's got the legs to go crazy, because I don't think that the cultural significance of it is here again. I think that 30 years has probably been a little too much, and there are maybe too many fond memories of the original, so it has a lot to live up to. Maybe what they're thinking is now, well, we did this one last year, we can do better. And people were like, yeah, you know what, I think you might be right.
Well, Ghostbusters is going to live on in people's hearts for years to come, I think, and forevermore, because it was just such a classic, original, fun, silly story, introducing people like Slimer. And I had the computer game back on the Commodore 64 that had, as it was loading, you could play Space Invaders. So, it was double good just for that.
See, I had my Spectrum, and of course, which is obviously the better one. And I remember there was an awful speech sample at the beginning of it, which was meant to be like the Ray Parker Jr. song, but it ended up being like that. It was genius. It was wonderful.
Kids today don't know how lucky they are, right?
No idea. But a VR experience sounds like a lot of fun.
It does.
There was a brilliant Ghostbusters video game on, I think it was PS3, maybe Xbox 360, where it was, to all intents and purposes, it was a third film with the original cast. So people are, if they're that desperate, they can go and play that. I'm not waiting for another Ghostbusters film to hit. I think it's going to have a number of problems, and I have to say, I think this is Ivan Reitman maybe trying to push the idea out again and see what people come up with. But they're all talented people, and we all love Ghostbusters, so maybe another chance is on the cards.
So that's our thoughts on the Ghostbusters movie. Do let us know what you think. You can see here on the website, John's written an article up with his thoughts. So either write your comments in there or comment on this YouTube video. And with these videos, we really want to hear what you think. So that's what it's all about. So do let us know. And we shall see you on the next episode of Mouth Off. Take care for now. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed,
Nice.
Hey,